a structured way to learn each other's ambitions. And in that sense, if all you want to do is to detail and negotiate hard on the timing of the drag-along right of the venture capitalist, you might miss to understand what is his need, what is his ambition. And that could break the deal very early on, because even if the contract will say 3.5 years, if your investor's ambition was to sell its stake at year 3, it will want to sell the company at year 3 and then will use all the other tricks in the agreement to achieve what his ambition was. So my message would be that you sometimes need a partner. If you need a partner, you might want to attach it with cash, and that could be a good option for involving venture capital in your company. And the best way to deal with your investor is to try to listen to him or her, understand their ambitions, and be honest about your ambitions. I think these would be the key points for me.
Great. Balázs, I don't want to put you on the spot here, and I know you two were on different sides, but generally, can you talk about this, please?
I think right now we are on the same sides, because this gentleman probably is very happy, right? In the beginning, probably.
Confirmed.
But you have to be honest about, it's a partnership, right? But both parties are bringing different things to the table. And because I was part of this, I would call beauty show, when you're selecting this partner, everybody from the VC side will promise a lot of other things that they will bring to the table. And sorry to say, in the end, they only bring the money. So when they promise you that they're going to help you recruit, they're going to help you to sell, yes, they're going to make efforts to do that. But they're not there to run your business. They're not there to be actively part of your business. It is, I'm not saying it's a white lie, but I would say I would discount heavily on those promises. But at the same time, I think once you establish a relationship, they can really help you in how to run your business. And typically what happens is, I felt that once you have a good partner who you understand what their ambitions are, you can kind of negotiate about what's each other's ambitions and how we can make sure that our interests are aligned. And there's one point when an entrepreneur needs to turn its startup to a real company. That's the point where I think VCs are really helpful. Because the good thing about VCs is that they have a network. They work in a network of other VCs. And this is an influential group of people, not to bring in business, but to able to recruit a good board, which is important. And I think that's the point when the VC can really provide you the right support. We never had, or EPAM never had, a really famous venture capitalist investing into our company. And I never had this relationship, so I was always able to talk with people which I consider normal. So the only thing which I can tell you is, which is why I would really look for a really high top-end VC firm, is maybe you can get access to their private jet. Maybe.
Who needs a private jet?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I guess I'll just expand a little bit on what everybody has said. But, you know, I think that the first question Robin answered really about sort of, you know, the bootstrap versus an investor. And, you know, I agree with that. So I'm not going to talk about that. It's more sort of the relationship with the investors. And again, I've been on both sides now. You know, my third venture, you know, I took public on the NASDAQ back in '98, and we seeded that with $20 million in Bruce Rauner, venture capital money out of Chicago. And the relationship there was one that was reciprocal, and we both understood what we were doing right from the beginning. And our objective there was to use the venture money to acquire as many other companies, great companies, or practices, entice 50 individuals to come out of the consumer products practice of Oracle or CSC or Computer Associates or Red Pepper, or a lot of the ERP firms that are around at that time. So our objective was to really hire the best of the best or acquire the best of the best and try to file an S1 as soon as possible. And we did that within 18 months of having started the company with venture money. We were 900 employees doing $450 million a year, and we did that. We went public. So, since that time, I've continued to do startups where we've had to attract, Series A, Series B, Series C money, and I think it's already through having taken a company public that, and that's the only reason that I had access to some of these venture capital firms. Because the reality is that 0.00001% of us will ever even get a meeting with a venture capitalist, and less than that will actually get an investment. So it's nice to say that we can pick and choose and all that, but it's not reality. But an investor, though, can come in many different forms. I treat my employees and colleagues as investors, right? Because many times they believe in the opportunity. They're coming in at lower salaries. They understand the sacrifice that we're all going to have to make, and we give them equity in the company. Other times you do find now the individual who wants to invest. Could be the angel, could be some sort of regional pre-seed fund. Now at this point, this is where we should definitely put on our caution hat a little bit. And if it's, I don't know, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million forints, 50 million that they're going to be potentially investing, up to $250,000, and that term sheet is going to be put together, hopefully they're bringing something, besides just the money. Hopefully this is somebody that you've already established a mentor relationship with. You believe in sort of, what they're saying, or how they earned their money, right? The 250,000 or 50 million forints or whatever it is that they're going to invest, hopefully that they made that money themselves, and they made it in sort of a similar type industry, and they have sort of a network that you can leverage. So, when you get up into the sort of the institutional venture capital money, now remember, that term sheet's going to come with a board seat or two. Sometimes a single firm is going to want 2 board seats. So just keep in mind, though, that when you go that first institutional route and, you now have a board, your board is largely trying to dictate or mandate a lot of the passion that you brought to this venture. Right, and a lot of times your passion doesn't cut it anymore because they gave that money to you for a particular reason, because they want a return or they want a return for their investors. Now this is where the challenge is, and the challenge has always been for me, is when you start trying to put together a larger round of money, you're going to potentially have different firms that are going to come in and participate in that round. And each of those firms or individuals or entities is often going to have different objectives. One, a year down the path could be, oh my gosh, we have a great opportunity here. Well, let's go ahead and exit now for, a 3x, 4x, 5x. Another saying, no, let's wait a little longer. So now you get into these situations where your board isn't actually on the same page. And I've dealt with that. And I've been one of those individuals too, who says, no, as a board member and an investor, let's wait a little bit. And we get into a lot of sort of knock-down, drag-out fights about what to actually do with the company. And we've had the sort of the CEO founders in the room, and they're just like, what the heck did I get involved in? Why did I get mixed up with these yahoos? These are supposed to be the experts, and they can't even agree. We go into a board meeting, and seriously, I mean, it's we're we're actually doing all the sausage making in front of the founders, and it can be bad. So investors are tough. We're tough. I've been on both sides. Just choose your investors carefully. Try to find somebody that you really value, their character, and get to know them a little bit. Maybe it'll help a little.
Anna Maria, I would very much appreciate your view of how this governance really crystallizes and does it work?
Well, I just would have liked to make a comment regarding investor and the entrepreneur relationship. We represent a startup venture capital firm, and I just would like to share their strategy with you because it's really interesting. So they first establish a personal contact in the company that they plan to invest in, and they really build on that personal relationship. And then, of course, they go through all the other steps and processes, like they evaluate the business plans and the business and financial background and situation in the company, and then they invest, but they understand what you just mentioned, Balázs, that mostly what they can bring to the table is money, but they're not able to actually run the business. So they pick the target company really based on that trusted relationship, and that based on the fact that they would need somebody or management and owners that they can really trust in the long term. And we have completed a couple of their investments, and so far this strategy worked. So it's interesting to see how that. But regarding governance, I think the danger that lays in startups is that